to help share with us today. So today's seminar is titled Pathways to a Diploma and the IGP, and sharing about some of those pathways to a diploma within our district, and then support for those students with disabilities are Cindy Canales and Teresa Romero from the Division of Adult and Career Education. They will share first, and then we will have time for questions. And then we will move over to Rosanna Carosa from the Division of Instruction, and we will also have time built in for questions following her presentation on the IGP. So before I hand it over, I wanted to remind you that today's session is being recorded. And if you have questions, please use the Q&A feature. And then check out the chat box. And like all of the other seminars, I will post the seminar organizer, and that has all of today's resources, as well as the feedback survey in there. For those interested in receiving the Transition Institute certificate for this series, it will be available on MyPLN if you search Transition. And then from there, you will see Transition Institute #2, and it will allow you to click through each of the seven recorded seminars and then receive your certificate at the end. But please give me until Monday to get the content loaded on MyPLN, and then that should be enough time to make the training go live. So again, thank you all for spending your precious time with us today, and I will turn it over to Cindy and Teresa.
Thank you, and thank you for having us here this afternoon. We're happy to share what our programs have to offer. Especially right now, we're getting a lot of referrals, so it's good to have an understanding, or at least some background on what we offer through the Division of Adult and Career Education. So we're definitely happy to be here with you this afternoon. So Ms. Romero, do you have any?
Yes, hi. Thank you for inviting us. Yes, definitely. We're happy to be here today and to share some of the information that is available to your students once they transition from their high school into post-secondary.
So I'm going to start sharing my screen. So I believe I have access now, correct? Okay. Okay. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So welcome to our Pathways to a Diploma presentation. So through our Division of Adult and Career Education, we have 5 different service area schools. Through all of those service areas, we do offer courses to help build on English language skills, diploma classes, and career education. So this is currently our level up branding, and we're currently enrolling at all of our 10 different service areas. So some of the topics for today will include the high school diploma and our, the options, adult basic education and adult secondary education, which is commonly referred as ABE and ASC programs, the ACT program, which is formerly known as AWAC, and then the career and technical education, known as CTE, and the disability support program. Okay. Again, the main programs that we offer through our Division of Adult and Career Education are English as a Second Language, the ABE, Adult Basic Education, which is basic reading, writing, and math classes, secondary, which includes all high school classes and high school equivalency preparation courses, and our CTE classes, which are career training classes that offer apprenticeship and state certification programs. So one of the common questions is, what does it mean, adult basic education? So the adult basic education, or ABE program, is aimed towards students who might struggle in high school or career programs. So the ABE program helps students improve their basic math, reading, and writing skills. It provides a learning environment geared towards transitioning to the high school diploma or career training program, and is ideal for the students who do not feel confident in their skills or who don't score well on the assessment test. So the assessment test is the initial placement test that we have here at our schools. And it's the same test offered at all 10 service area schools. So if the student takes that placement test, let's say at West Valley Occupational Center, then they can use this same test at another site. Let's say it's East Los Angeles. So it transfers over. A lot of the students transitioning into our programs, when they place, they usually place in the adult basic education program, which serves them as a remedial program and remedial courses. Students are able to earn elective credits when they complete the class. Let's say it's a reading class or a math class. They are eligible to receive 5 elective credits once they complete 60 or more hours of coursework. The Adult Secondary Education, or ASE, is the program designed for students looking to get a high school diploma or equivalent. Our Division of Adult and Career Education counselors provide students with the fastest route to earning a high school diploma or equivalent. So you can either choose a traditional class environment, independent studies, which you learn from home, or individualized learning labs. All of these courses that we offer here at the Division of Adult and Career Education meet the A through G requirements. UC subject requirement for freshman admission. So the pathways that we offer here at the adult schools are the traditional way to a diploma, which requires 170 high school credits, equivalent to 34 classes, because we accept the 5 credit classes only. So we are able to take the credits from, foreign transcripts or credits that you earned at other high school level schools. So it's the 34 classes. We evaluate your transcript and we go ahead and let the student know what classes they are missing. We have the hybrid way to earning a diploma, which is completing the high school equivalency test known as the HiSET in English and completing 10 high school core classes, which include English, algebra, and the social sciences classes. I'll go more into detail in a few minutes about that. And then we have the third option, which is the HiSET in Spanish plus 14 classes that the student would take in English. So the students are able to bring their transcripts, we evaluate, and based on what the evaluation is, then we'll determine what is the fastest route for the student to complete an adult school diploma. The high school equivalency exam, formerly known as the GED, is what we're using as the HiSET. So the California State Board of Education has approved the high school equivalency test as a test to be used to earn a California high school equivalency certificate. This test is available both in English and in Spanish, and we offer them here at our adult schools. The test measures high school equivalency and college and career readiness in 5 subject areas, which include reading, writing, math, science, and social studies. The approximate cost is $175. Currently, we're working on getting our test centers up and running. So if the student is interested in taking this test, we currently have 2 centers available for testing, or they would have to qualify to test from home. So we've added the website here, and we also added it under the resources page. So the 3 options for the diploma include these pathways, which is the first one. And then you can see, I'm not sure if the print is too small, but you can see that the traditional route is the 34 classes, which include English, algebra, high school math, the social sciences, the physical and biology. Then we have elective credits and fine arts or foreign language. So the second option includes 2 English classes, 2 algebra, which algebra A and B, the government history 1, history 2, health, the personal and career development classes, and the high school equivalency in English. LAUSD also accepts the GED, and we're holding off on the task for now. These are all equivalency exams. And then the third option is the 14 classes, all in English, and the Spanish exam, whether it's the HiSET or the GED. Okay. So the ACT program is the Accelerated College and Career Transition Program. This program is a free blended learning program that incorporates independent study, individualized instruction, technology, and it's tailored for at-risk youth and young adults between the ages of 16 to 24. So this program offers a learning environment that provides educational opportunities for high school diploma or equivalencies. It's state approved and it's fully accredited. The classes, the diploma courses meet the A through G requirements. It's flexible in the schedule. You can take courses that fit your schedule. You can start at any time, work at your own pace, and you can graduate in a realistic time frame. It's college prepared and career ready. So this is just, graph here. So this program, usually we meet with the student, and based on the evaluation, the referral, we identify if this student is a good candidate for our ACT program. And we do have currently these ACT sites that are open to the students. Some of them are directly on the adult school campus, or they're nearby in the surrounding community of that school. Some of these programs do get full quickly, so some of them start getting wait lists, but this is a good time for the referrals to the ACT programs. So it really just depends on what the student is looking for. If they're looking for a flexible schedule, if they're looking for a little more one-on-one, more monitoring, then this is a program for that student. So the next slide is a list of our Division of Adult and Career Education schools. So we have 10, and we are here. The school that we're from West Valley Occupational Center, and Ms. Romero is from North Valley, and she covers the West Valley as well. So these schools all operate the same. We offer the same courses, with exception of some of the career technical classes, which Ms. Romero will go over shortly. And again, if the student completes a class here at West Valley, that's transferable to Abram Friedman if they need to transfer, or vice versa. So we do have the same requirements, and the academic courses are free. The only thing, or the only cost would be for the high school equivalency if that's required. If it's not, then there's no cost. We do offer graduation ceremonies at the end of the school year. And we have in-person. Well, hopefully this time we'll be able to have an in-person graduation, and students that earn a diploma through us are eligible to participate, whether it's a high school diploma or an equivalency. So all are welcome. And Miss Romero,
Okay.
I think it's your turn. So I would
It's my
like to
turn.
welcome Ms. Teresa Romero. She's our Disability Support Advisor here at West Valley Occupational Center and at North Valley.
Okay. Let's see.
While you're sharing your screen, Teresa, I was going to point out that there's a question in the Q&A. It says, what age must a student be in order to take the high school equivalency exam?
So that would be a question for, I think Ms. Canales can answer that. I don't know if you want to wait until we're done with the presentation, or if you want us to answer questions as we go along.
We can do either. I saw that one popped up and I thought, oh, maybe before we switch gears, it's maybe a burning question for someone. But Cindy, if you think it's a short response, go for
Sure.
it. If not, we can wait till the end. So
17 and 10 months. It was, let's see, I'm sorry, can you ask the question again?
yeah, it said, what age must a student be in order to take the high school equivalency exam?
17 and 10 months.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that was only open questions. So.
Okay, perfect. So thank you for inviting us to present today. As Ms. Canales mentioned, I'm Teresa Romero, and I'm the Disability Support Services Advisor at West and North Valley Occupational Center. And what I will be presenting today on is a little bit about the career technical education courses and our disability support services. So before I start, I would like to introduce you to our disability support services advisors and the schools that they cover. So first is Lisa Andrade. She's located at AFOC. Catherine Mancuso at East LA OC, Venice Skills Center in Slauson. Lisa Cantu, Harbor OC and LATC. Marisela Bustillos, East LA Skills, which is now part of East LA OC, but she still attends East LA Skills. Evans and Maxine Waters, and then myself at North and West Valley Occupational Center. Okay, so as we know, not all of our students will be attending college. So if they're interested in doing a short-term career training program, the Division of Adult and Career Education has a lot of programs to offer, and I would like to share with you a short video on some of those programs. Oops, no. It went the wrong way. Let's see. Play that.
There are over 175 career technical education courses offered at our schools. Don't spend thousands of dollars at private schools when you can access schools in your community at no cost. Who are we? Los Angeles Unified Adult Education. We also provide in-person and online courses in English as a second language, citizenship, and high school diploma. Best of all, our classes are free. We're fully accredited, and we serve the entire LA area. Take your first step today. Build your skills, build your future, level up with Los Angeles Unified Adult Education. Visit launifiedadult.org/register or call 213-241-3150.
Oh, I hope you were all able to hear the program. I'm not able to see, or so I hope you were able to hear it. So as mentioned in the video, there are over 175 career technical programs in 15 industry sectors. And as outlined on this slide, you can see all the different sectors that we offer. And there's a lot of these courses, anything that your students may be interested in doing, they can take a look here and see. And the best part about all this is that these classes are free. There's no charge for the class fees. The only thing that the students would have to pay for would be for their books or supplies or tools. And if they are clients of the Department of Rehabilitation, then we would be able to coordinate payment with the Department of Rehab so that the students don't have to pay any fees. So what should the student do? What is their first thing to do? So the first thing is for them to look into the school that they're interested in attending and find this. You'll find this information in our division's website, and I'll give you that information as well. But this gives you a list of all the schools, the addresses, phone numbers, and the advisor assigned to that school site and their email address. So once your student decides on what school they would like to attend, they should contact the advisor at that school so that they can start the process. So what is the process? So students, the first thing our students need to do is to create a DASIS account to apply for enrollment. They can go to the website listed under step 1, and they can sign up, apply, and they will be issued an ID number. This ID number will be used throughout their training in the school. They'll use it for many other things, but it identifies them in our system. So after they've created that account, step 2 would be to contact our DSS office. There's some paperwork that our students need to complete, like a consent to release of information. We need to get verification of disability. And again, the link to contact our DSS advisors is listed right under step 2. So once they've completed step 2, the next thing would be for them to enroll in a step in an onboarding STEP orientation class. So during this class, this is a 12-hour course. Students will be given information about their daily pass, about the COVID testing, about Schoology, how to set up their account, and all this information before they start classes. They're also going to be given a reading and a math assessment so that we will know if they're eligible to get into the program or the classes that they're interested in taking. So once step 3 is completed, they should contact their DSS advisor, schedule an appointment to meet with them, discuss their scores with the advisor and the program goals, so that the advisor can then recommend or give them a schedule of classes. And of course, the 5th step is for them to enroll in classes. So some of the services available may include course advisement, personalized registration, test accommodations, sign language interpreters, enlargements, Braille, audiobooks, classroom accommodations, assistive technology, and agency referrals and liaison. So if your student or the students coming to us are not clients of the Department of Rehab and they would like to be, we would do the referral. We would set up the accommodations for them. So this is why it's important for them to first contact our DSS office and meet with their advisors so that we can provide them with the right accommodations. So some of the conditions that we work with are listed on this page, but you know, there's a lot of other disabilities that we work with. We do need to have verification or written verification of the disabling condition and the accommodations that are being requested by the students so that we can work with them on providing that support service. So this concludes my presentation. I want to thank you for listening, paying attention to us, and I hope that we will be working with you in the future. And now we'd like to open it up for questions.
Perfect. Thank you. That was really helpful to just see it all listed out and to have a copy of this presentation. As a reminder, the seminar organizer link is in the chat box, so you can go over, click on that, and their slides from today are in there, as well as some other resources that they referred to in their presentation. It does look like we've got a couple questions in the Q&A. Is it helpful if I read them out loud?
Oh, yeah, that would be great. Thank you, Anne.
Okay, so I think it was a follow-up to the previous question about the age for that. Somebody said, what about for the high school proficiency test?
Yes, and I responded to that one. I think I hope I responded correctly on the Q&A, but for the California High School Proficiency Exam, which is known as the CHESP, that requires for the student to be at least 16 years old or at least have been enrolled in grade 10 for at least one academic year to be considered for the CHESP, which is the California High School Proficiency Exam. That's slightly different than the California High School, the high school equivalency. So for the equivalency, that's 17 and 10 months.
Okay. Another question said, if a student scores at a lower grade level than required in the program they are interested in, is it considered that they have an IEP? I think basically, is there any wiggle room on that grade level required for the program, or reading level?
Oh, what is it?
If a student scores at a lower grade level than required in the program, is it considered that they have an IEP?
No, they They do have to show verification of the IEP. So they will be tested, and based on their scores, then that's when we would determine if they need to go into a remedial class to assist them with their bringing up their reading or their math levels so that they can go into the right course.
Understood. Thank you.
Yeah, and if I can just add for the for most of the academic courses or high school diploma courses, the reading score would be a 9.0 or higher. Some of the CTE courses have a lower reading requirement. It just really depends on what is the program or the the CTE program that they would like to go into.
Right.
Okay. I saw someone had posted, I think it was in the chat, and then now we have a question come up about it, but we want the link to the intro video that you shared so that we could share it out.
Yes. So you know what, I will get that and put it in the chat. It is under our DACE.
It's our
link.
LAUSD
Yes.
email. So
Yeah, I will. Let me get that for you. Just one
And it's embedded
second.
in the presentation, but depending on how you embedded it, it's a PDF. So, but yeah,
Yes.
in the chat, I'll quick move it over to the seminar organizer as well too before I end of
Yes,
the-
I will. I will definitely get that to you. I'm just trying to get myself out of here. But it is in our DACE website.
Perfect. Then we had a question, can we bring students to the campus for a field trip or do a virtual tour?
we have in the past had the field trips here, but with the with the COVID and just we would have to make sure that if we do have visitors on campus, they do download the daily pass. And a virtual tour, Ms. Romero, I mean,
You know what? Yes, I'm sorry. We have been doing not necessarily a virtual tour, but we've been doing some of these presentations at the local high schools.
yes.
So we've been making that connection with our DOTS teachers out in our areas. So it's a good idea if they can contact the DSS advisor from their area, and they can certainly schedule something for their particular area.
Perfect. And another question about courses and certificates are free at Harbor Occupational Center, question mark. They thought that there was a fee for certifications.
Oh, there is a fee for some certifications. So the class fee is free for the classes. However, like for example, if they needed to do certification for the aviation program, yes, there is a fee for that, or for the cosmetology exam and things like that.
Right. Another one, it's a good one. When a student takes a remedial class to improve their reading or math skills, are they tested again to get into the program that they like?
It's either they can be tested again, or just the completion of the course, and the teacher will refer and make that judgment call based on the coursework and just the summative tests that they have in the class. But in most cases, it depends on the student. If the student is in a rush to get through, a specific program, or they need to take the exit or the high school equivalency exam, then then they can ask, and then we can retest and see if they're at the appropriate level to enter into that specific program. So.
And I just posted the link to the video. So that way, and it is on the PowerPoint that I emailed to you. So yeah.
Perfect. And I will add that to the seminar organizer as well. And I don't see any other questions.
But Selena and Christina's question may have been answered, but Christina has her hand up in case, Christina, I'll unmute you in case you have a question.
Hi, Christine. I think I remember you.
Yes, yes.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Great.
Yeah, my biggest concern has always been students who want to get into the nursing program, the CNA, the LVN program. Because a couple of years ago, I think I contacted you, Teresa. I
Mhm.
had a student who wanted to get into the LVN program.
Right.
And it required a very high reading level. Even with the remedial courses, it was just a little difficult for the
Yes.
student to get in. And those programs are very impacted. When they go private, it costs about 40,000 or so.
Yes.
So my concern is that when they test and they are still falling short, what is it that, what kind of support would they end up getting? Because if it requires them at 10th grade level, 11 or 12th grade level, sometimes it might be difficult for them to get to that level.
Yeah, that is true. And I'm not really sure what the answer is to that. I think it's an administrative decision, because those are the requirements for the program. So what we do is we would provide them with their requested accommodations, but to be honest, the accommodations are very limited. We do not have tutoring available or the one-on-one. It's mainly just extended time for the students when they're testing, or books on audio, or things like that. So if they're not reaching that level, it'll be very difficult for them to complete the course,
Right.
especially that LVN. And I think, yeah, I remember that was at Maxine Waters.
Yes.
And you're right, the program there, when I was there last, it was about $10,000. I don't know if that's what it is now. And the Department of Rehab does assist with payments on that. But as far as getting to the academic level, if they're not reaching that level, it's really difficult. It's a very difficult program. They do need to have those academic skills. And if they can't reach that, I think that would be up to administration. I don't know if I can tell you more.
No, I do appreciate your response.
Thank you, Christina.
Thanks.
Right. I think at that point, multiple measures like a school transcript can help identify, if the student's not able to meet that placement requirement. Maybe, yeah, I'll use another measure. That would be the only thing, and it would be case by case.
Mhm. That's a good idea. Yeah, a different way of assessing or
Yes.
measuring that. Mhm.
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah, so we would try and explore different options, I guess, in discussing with the instructor options and things
Right.
like that, of what else we can do to be able to accommodate the students' needs. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm. Oops, I think you're
You're on
muted.
mute.
I think that was some really great questions that came up in the Q&A. So thank you for taking the time to answer those and sharing all the resources and your slides for today. I especially like that intro video. I always feel like a lot of the nonprofit schools have the money to do really fancy commercials and things to lure people in and don't always follow through on their promises. So it was good to see some promotional materials for a program that we all believe in. So that was great. So thank you both. And I think in the interest of time, we will move on to the second portion. And I'm sure you will be hearing from some of our teachers with further questions or setting up tours and connecting in the future. So thank you, Cindy
Absolutely.
and Teresa.
Sure.
Thank you.
Of course. Thank you for inviting us.
Yes,
Have a
thank
good
you.
day.
And we
Thank
look
you.
forward to collaborating with you all. Thank you.
Great.
Yes, definitely.
Thank
Have a
you.
good one. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so now we will kind of reframe our thinking a little bit here and move on to Rosanna Carosa and give her a chance to share screen and take over to fill us in a little bit about the IGP and possibly some other pathways to a diploma that might not have been part of DAYS. So welcome, Rosanna, and we're happy that you're here to share with us.
Okay, I'm trying to get my picture to show. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully you are excited about IGPs. We're going to go over IGPs. My name is Rosanna Carosa. I am the Master Program Institute Coordinator with the Division of Instruction, specifically the Academic and Counseling Services branch. So I'm excited to be here, and we're going to go over the IGP. I know I mentioned to Anne earlier that depending on the MISIS user role you have, some of you may not have access to pull the report. So you can always, if you don't have access, you can always request access if that is something that the administrator at the school site is willing to do, or go through the counseling office and request it. So we're going to go through a couple of the highlights of what the IGP is, and we're going to start with the policy. As you know, with the district, there's a bulletin, a reference guide, or a memo for pretty much everything. There is one for the IGP. There used to be an ICP. It was an individualized culmination plan that was for middle school. But when we started going toward the A through G destination graduation, they morphed it into a 7-year plan to incorporate 6th through 12th. So it's all under one umbrella, which is the IGP. And it really is designed to monitor, document, have that open line of communication between the student, the parent, in their course selections and their post-secondary plans, educational career plans. And it ensures that they have access to a rigorous curriculum and opportunities to support, enrich, and challenge educational experiences. So that's basically the why of the IGP. In the implementation, every secondary student must have an IGP conducted annually. And the IGP should actually be completed during the first semester of each school year for 6th to 12th grade. And a copy, depending on, the environment. I know with COVID, it was a little difficult, but in person, you give a student the copy, and then there's a copy that stays with the student's records at the school site. And again, the counselor's role is critical in this. So definitely there's communication that could be sent out to the home, and inviting parents to come and have the IGP conducted. And so if and when it's difficult to maybe have the parent meet, you can have a conference over phone or emails. I know that was pretty much the way it was getting done the last few years because of COVID. And then this is all documented in MISIS, and we'll show a little bit of the screenshots of what the document looks like, and try to explain a little bit more in depth. And then students that are at promise and are not making gains towards culmination or graduation should have a second IGP meeting in the second semester, and it should be conducted by the 10th week of the grading period. So and then just to document what the plan is for them, whether it's credit recovery, whether it's intensive intervention plan, what have you. And again, that is all recorded in MISIS. And then for students that are have students with disabilities that have an IEP, definitely the IGP is critical in and with the counselor as well in advising the student, the parent, the IEP team on academic and transition related performance levels and goals proposed in the IEP. So it's an important document, and definitely counselors should be part of that IEP team or meeting. And then students that are in specialized populations, they should have, so sometimes, they check in to schools at different times of the year. They should have an IGP meeting scheduled within the 30 days upon getting notification of their eligibility to be in a specialized population. And the education rights holder, a counselor, foster youth liaison, what have you, should also be a part of that. And again, the goal of the IGP is to discuss the graduation options. And again, we'll have a couple of screenshots to kind of review the different sections of it. So the IGP basically is a tool that shows the student's progress towards graduation or culmination. And it's aligned to our graduation policy, which is aligned to the CSU graduation requirements. And there's 3 buckets. We have the A through G requirements, the CDE requirements, and then the additional LAUSD requirements. And this is all reflected in the IGP. They're minimum in high school. They could be a minimum of about 3 to 4 pages, depending on the student's courses that they've completed. And so we'll go through how to read that. And I get the pieces that the A through G, the CDE, and the LUSD can't be just analyzed in isolation. It has to be a merging of what the requirements are for graduation. So that's why it's a really great tool to show students, like, this is where you're at, and this is what you need to do to get closer to the graduate, to get into the finish line. So this is basically what the A through G page of the IGP looks like. Hopefully it's a good enough screenshot that you could see. And it has the requirement met. So it has the CSU, and then it will tell you whether the student has met the requirement for that particular subject area. And then it has the UC, and then it has the LAUSD. So you'll notice that in some cases, the student is a no for UC. And in this case with the science, it's because they need to take two classes in the D subject area. So again, this is just one piece that is helpful in monitoring and analyzing what students need to get to the finish line. But it's not the only page that counselors or should look at as they're programming kids or guiding students toward graduation. And then there is a panel here that kind of gives a breakdown of their GPA. And if they've taken any AP exams, they'll have the scores. If they took this SAT, they'll have scores there. It'll populate for them. And then there's a bar here. The subject area up here, title, it gives you the subject area. So you can see if it's social science is the A, English is B, C, and then the courses that the student has taken, the credits they received, the grade and the grade level they took it in. And then a little legend up here, if it's recommended or it's required. So if it's a Q, it's a required course. And then if it's in progress, it'll say in progress. So again, this is just one of the buckets that needs to be analyzed when looking at the A through G. And then there's a CDE page, which has some non-negotiables in terms of what the CDE has as a minimum requirement for graduation. And so this is why it's very important to look at the whole document, not just one piece of it. And so here it'll tell you if the student has met the requirement. Oops. And one thing here, history is a non-negotiable, like the students have to take world history, US history, government, and economics. And so in the A through G, there's different ways to get to the A through G requirement met. So we always advise counselors and students that they need to pass those three classes. Same thing with math, they need 2 years of seat time between 9th and 12th grade. So again, if they use validation rules that are allowed in college and they don't have the minimum seat time for the CDE, that can also veer them off course for graduation. So always reminding people to be mindful of that. Same thing with science. CDE is very specific that they want 1 year of biological science and 1 year of physical science. And so there is no validation, there's no way around that. Those are one of the non-negotiables with the CDE. So that's why it's really important to look at the A through G bucket and the CDE and being mindful of where the student is. So that's why the IGP is a really great tool because it helps, summarize that. And then the summary, the counselor notes are on the panel next to the CDE, and all these dates are when they met with students for the IGP. And then it'll when the initial IGP was created, and then the ones that they've done annually since then. And the last page is the LUSD requirement, which is the health, the enrollment in grade level, the service learning, and career pathways. And then it'll tell you the total number of credits the student has. And then a little legend to kind of explain what certain acronyms mean and the breakdown of what scores a student would need if they have in fact taken a test. And again, that would populate in the front page of the A through G. The A through G IGP page. And I think that's it for the high school one. There's a middle school one, much more simplified. It's basically one page, and it's not broken down from A through G. It's just kind of giving the middle school students an introduction to what they're going to have in high school, and it just breaks down what they have completed, their GPA, their testing scores. Again, some of that has not happened because of COVID, their attendance data, and then their current schedule. So it's a little different than the high school one, but still a lot of great information to share with students as they plan and meet and support and guide them through middle school into high school. And again, the dates that counselors have met with the student. And I think this is just a bigger screenshot of the right panel. Oops. I don't know if you have any questions regarding that. It's pretty, I don't know.
Straightforward.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Yeah.
But it is
it's
helpful to
policy.
see and have somebody explain it, because sometimes when, we're in the middle of an IEP meeting or meeting with a counselor, we don't always have time to sit down and ask the counselor to go through it with us. So it was helpful for you to do that,
Yeah.
so that we're a little bit more familiar with it.
Perfect.
Thank you for that. I don't see any in the, we got positive in the Q&A. Someone said, thank you, this is helpful. But I don't see any questions coming in, but if you do have questions, put them in the Q&A and we'll get those answered. Otherwise, I think, we can move on and see what questions come up along the way.
So this piece is kind of in line with the pathways to a diploma that you had mentioned you wanted surface. So I'm just gonna give a really brief overview. I'm not gonna get too into it. I know if there is questions about it, I may or may not be able to answer, but I know I can try to get the answer for you and get back to you. But I'll just go through some of the main pieces. of different pathways that exist within our district. One of them is City of Angels, which is a independent studies program, which is completely voluntary, and it's basically an alternative instructional program that's kind of outside of the traditional classroom setting. It includes a master agreement, which is like a contract between the student, the teacher, and the guardian. And again, for students that have an IEP, the IEP team is the one that determines the placement if City of Angels is the proper placement for them. And then some of the considerations that should be taken into account if the IEP team is considering the City of Angels as an independent study placement is the student, is their ability to manage their time and daily schedule efficient? Can they work independently to complete assignments, turn them in, ask questions, to work without daily supervision and access the instruction using district adopted curriculum? So those are some of the placement considerations that IEP teams should take into account if City of Angels is something that is being considered. And I put the bulletin number at the bottom. This is it's a pretty long bulletin. So I just took the highlights, the main pieces, and then enrollment and continuation schools, which is another bulletin. Like I said, there's a bulletin memo or reference guide for pretty much everything in the district. So these continuation schools are designed to meet the social and educational needs of students who may be at promise in not completing high school graduation requirements. It's a smaller class size, so it tries to foster that close relationship that students may need in order to get more support to be successful with their academic achievement. And the goal of the continuation school is basically to have the student make up their credits and then either transfer back to their home school, or they can graduate from the continuation school. And one thing is that, continuation schools shouldn't be viewed as a place to put students that have poor attendance or behavior problems. And again, if a student does have an IEP, the placement is determined by the IEP team. For continuation schools, the eligibility criteria is that they have to be at least 16 years old. If they're 18 or 19 and have been continuously enrolled and may have unusual educational needs, maybe they have a limited number of courses, they may be allowed to enroll. Sometimes students have work schedules that don't let them go to traditional high schools. So this could be an alternative as long as they meet the criteria. And again, going back to the IEP is what drives the referral or the placement if they have an IEP. And then there's the community day school. Community day schools are again referral based, and it's more for intensive academic and or social emotional support, and it could be based on a parent's request or the sending school's recommendation. And usually there is a lot of documentation that you have to include in terms of interventions, supports that have been attempted prior to this, so that there's documented evidence of what has been attempted. And again, the IEP drives the placement or the referral to placement. And I think this is the last one, which is Carlson Home Hospital and Home Online Academy. Again, this is all referral based, and it's part of state law. Any student who's eligible, either that is in Gen Ed or SPED, who has a temporary medical or psychiatric disability and can't attend a regular day class, can use this as for a limited period of time as an alternative educational program. And so it is designed as a temporary service. It doesn't replace the extended period, the it's the regular required program or instructional program, and it's not a CUME record carrying school. So all the CUME records, the IGPs, the career pathways, all the documentation, the immunizations, they all remain at the student's home school, and as well as the IEP case management, the 504, the resource, everything is it remains with the school of attendance. And I think that's it. This is a quick abridged version of the different pathways that are there for us.
Perfect. I think that's exactly, yeah, that's exactly what I was hoping for is, sometimes you see the different options listed, but it's hard to know what the little nuances are about each of the programs and things. And as she mentioned, everyone, this is something that would be a IEP team decision and kind of case by case. And so there's no kind of set criteria. It's individualized and depends on the IEP team. So thank you for breaking that down for us and sharing. That was really great. It looks
There's
like
a lot of words.
right, and acronyms and
Yeah.
all new vocab to learn. So it looks like we had a couple questions pop up right here towards the end. One is wondering, during the IEP, who is responsible for going over the IGP if the counselor is not present?
Ooh, it should be the counselor. If they're not, then it's, I mean, it would be nice if the counselor would be part of it, because they should be part of the team. If they're not, I don't know if maybe another counselor could step in. It doesn't have to necessarily be the student's counselor per se. Anybody who has a PPS and is familiar with it would be able to speak to it, because it's it's something they're very familiar with. So it or the administrator over counseling perhaps, if they can. That would be my suggestion.
Great. I like that suggestion. And someone is wondering, can you discuss various waivers available and the validations?
Waivers in terms of like for the
Oh,
algebra 2 and LOTE?
that's what I'm assuming. Because then there's a second question from someone else, but someone's wondering about the academic waivers for those special education students.
Right. So there's a waiver for algebra 2, which is the third year of math that's required for graduation, and there is a waiver for LOTE, the second year of LOTE, which is the language other than English. And those are again something that the IEP team decides upon, and at that point the conversation is with the student, the IEP team, and the parent guardian, because if they do decide to go with the waiver, it takes them out of being eligible to go to a four-year college, because they do need algebra 2. It's one of the minimum requirements for math, and they do need that second year of LOTE. Before, I think maybe like 2 years ago, students could attempt LOTE, and as long as they attempted it, even if they failed it, it'd be okay. Now with the updated graduation requirements, class of 2020 and beyond, all students with disabilities must pass at least the first year of LOTE, and then they can qualify for the second year, the equivalency through a waiver. For LOTE, there is validation, so they can fail the first semester of, let's say, Spanish, or get a D, and then they get a C or higher on the second semester, and it'll completely validate the entire series. And depending on the level, if they fail Spanish 1 and pass Spanish 2 with a C or higher, it'll validate the whole 2 years. So there's no seat time in terms of LOTE. They can just they could take a test, they could pass one class and then meet the eligibility, but there is a waiver available. I believe the bulletin is 6257.1, which is the A through G and students with disabilities. It has the documentation there in order to hold a meeting and discuss the options. With math, though, the students still are required to take 3 years of math. if they do choose to go with the Algebra 2 waiver. It just doesn't have, it could be like math tutorial lab or something of that nature. Yeah, I hope that answers the question. I hope that was the question.
Yeah, I think it was. I think some people
Okay.
kind of piggybacked on that. So I think that was great. So thank you. I think
Yeah.
everyone keep your counselor close if you have questions, or reach out to Rosanna if we have more questions. And then again, the link is in the chat for the seminar organizer today. It's the last seminar within this series. So take the time to do the survey if you can, to give us some insight for future. And thank you for being here, Rosanna. And I know Cindy and Teresa already signed off, but thank you to the three of you for taking the time to share with us today. It was really, really helpful, and we appreciate you taking the time to be here.
No problem. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you so
Bye.
much.
No problem.
All
Thank you.
right, well, we're gonna go ahead and end the meeting now. Thanks for being here, everyone, and thanks for making it through the fall semester. And this meeting was recorded, so as with the other meetings, it will be added to the flyer. So if you have any to catch up on to earn that certificate that Anne was talking about, please feel free to watch those meetings at any time. And we will send out information on the certificate as soon as it's ready. So have a great rest of your day, everyone.